Good evening, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you for joining me for practice today. This week we've been working on our hip openers, really working on that external rotation at that hip socket and stretching out and strengthening our hip flexors as well. And for today, we have a level 2 focused Vinyasa flow class. So if you've been in any classes earlier this week, we had our fundamentals Monday, our level 1 on Wednesday, and we will be wrapping up the week with our level 2 this evening. In our level 2 classes, we pick up the pace a little bit. We do a little bit more advanced poses, but I still offer modifications. So wherever you are in class, you should have something that suits you very well. So thank you for joining me. As far as props, have a couple blocks if you have them nearby. Nothing special in use for these today, but if you do have them, it's always nice to have them by. I've got Coney with me today, and no real announcements other than great job getting through the week. I know I'm ready to have a nice practice to take me into the weekend, so I hope you are ready to get started. And we will get started seated. Just a quick warm up getting seated. So start with your legs crossed, ankles below your knees. Sit up nice and straight. And if you ever need to sit up on something to keep yourself from falling backwards, you can always sit up on a block or roll up your mat or sit up on a blanket. Anything that works for you. So just get nice and settled. Place your palms on top of your knees. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale through the nose. Through the mouth, exhale. 1 more time. Inhale through the nose. And through the mouth, exhale. Just take a moment here. Keep deepening your breathing. Maybe set an intention for class. Try to look inside and understand why you're here today. Is it for just a workout? Is it for a work in? Is it to focus on your breathing today? Is it to open up your hips, maybe de-stress? You want to focus on yourself today? Maybe have someone else on your mind. Just set that action, set that intention, set that person in the back of your mind right now. Let's take another couple deep breaths. All right, let's switch the clasp of our legs. So whichever leg is in front, just gently switch so that the opposite leg is in front now. We'll start just by warming things up. So let's begin with the arms. Inhale the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, release down to the sides. Inhale, palms up overhead. Exhale, release down. 2 more times. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, palms out and down. Once more. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, palms out and down. Adding our twist. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, twist from your right. Release both arms down. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, back up to center. Keep both arms up. We'll add our side lean. Let's just release that right arm down to the mat. Fingertips or palm releases down. You can use a block too if you need to. Root down through your sit bones. Inhale as you create length, and exhale, lean over that right side of the body. We'll hold this for a couple breaths. You can either walk that right hand out, bend that elbow. Just keep that left sit bone rooted. Try to still soften the shoulders away from the ears. A lot of times they want to hike up here. Then maybe you can turn your neck to look up at those fingertips. Keep rolling the pinky side edge forward so the palm faces the right side. Stay for one more breath. Let's inhale back up to center, both arms up, and exhale, release the left arm down this time. Again, fingertips or palm rest to the block or to the floor. Root down through your sit bones. Inhale to create length, and exhale, side lean on that left side. Try to keep that right ear next to that bicep, rolling that pinky side edge forward, keeping that right sit bone still rooted. Maybe your gaze turns to look up at those right fingertips. Stay for 2 breaths, walking that hand out if you'd like. One more breath here. And exhale, bring both arms up to center. Release them down through the center and down to the sides. Okay, now release your arms behind you. And just extend your legs out, knees bent, feet are flexed, and the heels are a little bit wider than shoulder width distance. Love doing our little bear sit here. It's a good way to just open up the hips and remind us of our internal and external rotation here. So this is our neutral position. Begin by inhaling by drawing the knees together, and exhale, separate out wide. So inhale, draw them towards each other, and exhale away. So keep going on your breath. Your arms are there to provide a little bit of support behind you. And make sure if when you're rotating the knees in towards each other, if they touch, just separate them out slightly. Maybe your knees touch the mat when you separate them. Maybe the outsides of your feet do. Just try to keep your feet flexed the entire time. Let's do a couple more times each way. Once more. And then just come back to neutral. We're going to roll onto our backs now. So bring your feet and your knees back into hips width distance. Gently either hold onto your wrists, hold onto your shins or your thighs, and just gently roll onto your back. Once you roll onto your back, hug those knees in toward your chest. Give them a gentle squeeze. And exhale as you wrap both hands around the right knee. Extend that left leg forward. Let's hover that left heel off the ground as you flex your foot. So we're drawing that right knee in towards our right shoulder, extending that left heel away from the body. Both feet are flexed. Try to spin that inner left thigh in and down towards the mat. One more breath here. And exhale as we switch. Draw the left knee in, extend that right leg straight out, flexing both feet. Hover that right heel an inch or two off the mat. Draw the left knee in towards your chest as you extend that right heel out. Stay for 2 more breaths here, spinning that inner thigh in and down. One last breath. And let's exhale, draw both knees in towards your chest. Now you release both arms down to the side. Keep your knees bent just for a moment here. And now we'll extend our legs up towards the ceiling. So extending the legs so that the palms of the feet face up towards the ceiling. Now gently point your toes, but then point your feet, but then draw the toes back towards your face. So some people call this a floint, a mixture of flexing and pointing. So start by pointing your feet so toes come away, and then keep those arches in the feet just as they are and draw the toes back towards your face. Now we'll try to keep that. We're going to lower in different phases. So before we lower our legs, make sure you're starting to turn on the core. Hug the navel in and down. Use your arms as support, so palms down on the mat. Take an inhale, and exhale, lower the legs halfway down, so 45 degrees. Draw that navel in and down, and inhale, lift the legs back up. Exhale, release halfway. Inhale, lift back up. 2 more times. Exhale halfway, lifting back up. One last time, halfway down. lift back up. Are you still flointing at your feet here? Now you can repeat that. If this is a little bit too much for you, you can bend your knees and just continue what we're doing. We're going to go down to a quarter off the mat. So now take an inhale. Now exhale as you release. Now we're releasing all the way down, so we're only about a foot off the mat. And then we'll draw the legs back up to center. 3 more times. Inhale as you drop them down. Exhale back up. Keep hugging that navel in and down. Inhale as you drop. Exhale, squeeze back up. Inhale, drop. And exhale, squeeze back up. Draw those knees back into your chest. Give them a nice gentle squeeze. We're not quite done yet, so enjoy this. Let's take one more deep inhale here. And exhale, release those hands back down. Re-straighten those legs back up. Remember, point the feet, then flex the toes back towards your face. Now we're going to go down in different phases. So this is the starting point. And we'll lower just a quarter, and then lower halfway, and then lower a quarter off the mat. And then inhale all the way back up to center. Lower a quarter, one more quarter, one more quarter. Lift all the way back up. Let's do that 2 times. Exhale, lower, lower halfway, lower just above the ground. Inhale, lift back up. Last time. Lower a quarter, lower halfway, lower a quarter off the ground. Keep your legs there. Extend your arms forward. Lift your head and your shoulders off the mat. Keep hugging that navel down. Hold it for one more breath. And exhale, release your legs, release the shoulders, release the back of the head. Draw the knees back into your chest one last time. And then keep your knees bent, release your feet down to the mat. All right. Hope we're getting warmed up here. Let's draw that right knee in towards your chest. Right palm on top of the right knee. Left palm on that left thigh. Let's begin to make some gentle circles. So we're opening up this right hip point a little bit more here. Keep that left sit bone rooted. And switch directions in your circles. It's always nice to get the core work over with at the beginning of class. All right, come back to stillness. Let's switch. So release the right foot down. Draw the left knee in toward your chest. Left palm on that left knee. Right palm on right hip. And begin to make your circles in that first direction. Again, try to keep both sit bones rooted. So if you feel that right hip come up, you can gently press with that right hand and maybe reduce your circles. And let's switch directions. And coming back to stillness, hug both knees back in towards your chest. We're coming into tabletop, so get there your way. If you want to hold behind your thighs, you can roll up and down your spine a couple times. If you're one that just likes to let your knees fall off to the side, you can do that as well. We'll all meet in tabletop. Wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips, top to the feet to the mat. Fingers nice and spread, gently pressing down through the base of each finger and each palm, lifting those armpits up to the sky. Lift that navel up to the sky as well. Nice long spine, neutral position. Take an inhale. And exhale. Let's add our cow cat. So let's inhale, drop the navel, send the heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, cat pose. Inhale, drop the navel, tailbone lifts, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. 2 more times. Inhale, drop the navel, heart lifts. Exhale, round the back, head hangs heavy. 1 more time here. Inhaling through your cow. And exhale through your cat. Coming back to stillness here. Nice neutral spine in your tabletop. Let's extend and straighten that right leg back. Flex the right foot. Bring that thigh up to hip height. Press back out through that right heel. The toes and the knees should start by facing towards the ground. Let's now extend the opposite arm. So left hand comes forward, left fingertips face away, pinky down, thumb up. Keep pressing back. Staying for one more breath. And exhale, gently release the knee and the foot down, the knee and the hand. Let's switch to the other side. So extend that left leg back. Bring that left thigh up to hip height. Flex the left foot so the left toes and the knee faces down. Then extend that right arm forward, pinky down, thumb up. So pressing back through the left heel, extending out through the fingertips. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release. Now add a little bit of external rotation here. So re-extend that right leg back up to hip height, flexing the toes. The left arm comes forward. Now we'll externally rotate that right leg. So the right knee and the right toes face out towards the side, but try to keep that pelvis neutral. We'll add some crunches here, some side crunches. So we'll bend the right knee, bend the left elbow, and re-extend, straighten out. Keeping the pelvis neutral, re-bend on your exhale. And inhale, re-extend. 2 more times. Knee bends, elbow bends. And re-extend. One last time. And re-extend. Now release that left arm, right knee down. We'll switch to the other side. Get your balance for a moment here. Now we'll re-extend that left leg back. Bring it up to hip height. Flex the left toes. So the toes and the knees start by facing down. Extend the right arm forward, pinky down, thumb up. Now externally rotate that entire left leg, knee and toes face out. Take an inhale, and exhale, knee bends, elbow bends. Inhale, extend, and exhale, bend. 2 more times. Inhale, extend, exhale, bend, keeping that pelvis neutral. Inhale as you extend, and exhale, bend. Inhale, extend, and just release that arm down, knee down. Let's bring the big toes to touch, knees to separate. Send your hips back toward your heels, arms out in front of you. Release your forehead down to the mat. Take a couple deep breaths here. In your child's pose, maybe you reconnect to your intention that you set in practice. And just know that child's pose is always an option for you. If you ever need to reconnect, recenter, deepen your breathing, just know this is an option. Let's take one more deep breath here. And exhale. Lift that forehead up, lift the hips up off the heel. Come back into your tabletop. Let's curl the toes under. Lift the hips up and back. Come into your downward facing dog. Our first downward facing dog, so give those knees a gentle bend. You can take your dog for a walk, lifting one heel, lifting the other. Keep still gently pressing down through the base of each finger and each palm, especially that index and that thumb. They always like to pop up. Just keep working those legs out. Maybe you lift one leg and lift the other for another couple breaths. And let's come back to stillness. Feet or hips with distance, arms, shoulder with distance. Firming those triceps in, pressing the heels back and down. Take an inhale here. And exhale. Now inhale, gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of your mat. Let's inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Stay in your forward fold for a couple breaths here. If you'd like, you can come into your ragdoll, grab opposite elbows. Let that head hang heavy. Either way, gaze back between your legs. Your knees can bend as much as you'd like. You can gently rock from side to side if you'd like. And switch the clasps of your elbows if you're grabbing them. Slight tuck of the chin, elongating that cervical spine. One more breath here. And let's come back to stillness. Release those arms down. We'll come up to standing, but take your time.
So press your feet into the mat, let your head and your arms hang heavy, and gently begin to rise one vertebrae at a time, letting your head and your arms come up last. Just roll those shoulders up and back. All right, and come to meet me facing the wide edge of your mat. We'll come to a wide-legged stance. Start with your feet nice and parallel, heels behind those center toes, like Coney. Hands at the hips. Now rotate the heels in so that the toes face out. We'll come into our goddess pose. So before we lower, again, make sure the heels are in, toes are out. Start to try and release the tailbone down. So it's really easy to arch. I'll show you like from the spine. It's really easy to do this while we're here. So we want to draw that tailbone down to create a nice length. Raise these frontal hip points up. Now, once you have that, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Let the knees fall out to the side as they bend. Keep your hands at your hips for now. Let's straighten those legs back up and exhale, rebend. Inhale as we straighten. Exhale, rebend. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. Keep drawing that tailbone down. Exhale, bend. Last one. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, rebend. Stay here for a moment. Let's add our arms. So extend the arms out to shoulder height, palms face forward. Bend the elbows so that the palms still face forward in our field goal post here. Now you can stay here if you want a little more challenge. Lift the heels up, press the toes into the mat, come into our full goddess pose here. Again, still draw that tailbone down. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Keep those shoulders up. Keep the arms up at shoulder height. Draw those shoulder blades towards each other at the top of your back. We're here for 2 more breaths. One last breath here. And gently release the heels, release the arms, re-straighten the legs. And heel toe your feet back together. Meet me at the top of your mat. With your feet separated, hips width distance, arms down to the sides, palms face forward. Just soften the shoulders away from your ears. Same thing, drawing that tailbone down. Trying to lift those frontal hip points up. One more breath here. All right, let's continue moving. Inhale, arms up overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, arms out and up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Building off of that, let's inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms down, step your right foot back, step your left foot back into plank. We're holding plank for a couple breaths here. Always have the option to drop to your knees. Either way, separate the shoulders and draw them down your back. Shoulders should be over the wrists, and you're drawing those inner thighs in and up towards the ceiling now. Staying for one more breath. Now everyone drop to your knees. Shift the torso forward, bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat, and on your inhale, lift up into your baby cobra. Roll the shoulders up and back. Release that tailbone down towards your heels. Send the heart forward for one more breath. And exhale, gently release. Curl those toes under. Press yourself up through tabletop and lift yourself up and back through downward facing dog. In your down dog, take a couple breaths here. Just one more breath. Now lift your right leg up, straighten it, bring that thigh up to hip height, flexing the toes, press back through that right heel. You may be able to drop that left heel down a little bit more, but now we'll add our external rotation. So rotate the right knee and right toes out to the side, bend that right knee. Maybe lift that right knee up a little bit higher, but try to keep that pelvis neutral and square towards the ground. Staying for one more breath here. And exhale, re-straighten that leg, knee and toes face down, and release that right foot down to the mat. We'll switch to the other side. So now lift that left leg up to hip height. Draw that right heel down a little bit closer to the mat. And now externally rotate. Left knee and left toes face out towards the mat. Bend the left knee. Maybe draw the left knee up a little bit higher. But keep that pelvis facing down. Square the shoulders down as well. Stay for one more breath. Now re-extend that left leg, knee and toes face down. Release that left knee down. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. This time walk your hands back toward your feet. So walking your hands back toward your feet, stay in your forward fold for a moment. If you have your block, you can keep it nearby. We're coming into a squat. So if you normally squat with the block behind you, you can place it a couple inches behind your heels. And now heel toe your feet out to the width of the mat. Your heels are slightly in and your toes are slightly out. Keep your arms down. As you gently start to lower your hips, your heart starts to rise. So you can either sit on your block, or if you don't need your block, you can place it off to the side. Either way, try to bring your hands into the center of your chest. Triceps are on the inside edge of your knees. So the triceps are gently pressing out as the knees draw in. Now it's easy to round here, so try to create a nice long spine. Imagine you have a string at the center of your chest, lifting yourself up to the sky. Really press down through those feet. If this is too much, you can always stay up a little bit higher. We're staying for one more breath here in our squat. And exhale, gently release the hands forward. Begin to shift back into your forward fold. Keep your legs wide this time, but parallel your feet. So your feet are out to the width of your mat, heels behind the toes, but stay in your forward fold. Just notice how this might feel a little bit different in this wide-legged forward fold. Your knees can still bend. Just stay for one more breath. Now begin to walk your hands back out into your down dog and bring your feet back into hip width distance. From here, we'll inhale as we gaze forward. Bend your knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, look up. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Just take a breath here. All right, we're starting to get warmed up here. Let's inhale the arms up overhead, palms face up. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, keep your left foot forward, step your right leg back. Start in your high lunge, but then drop your right heel down. We're coming into our warrior 2 feet. So right toe slightly forward. Heel toe this left foot so that the heel lines up with the arch of the back foot. Release the left foot to the inside edge of that left thigh. Raise the right arm up, press down through your feet, and lift up into your warrior 2 pose. So recheck in, make sure this left knee is directly on top of that left heel. Arms are out to the side, palms down. Turning your neck to look over those left fingertips. Press back through that right outer edge. And let's inhale as we straighten the front leg, arms up overhead. Exhale, rebend into your warrior 2. 3 more times. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, rebend. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, warrior 2. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, warrior 2. We're holding this for a couple moments. So recheck in. Try to roll this outer left thigh in and under. It's really easy to let your butt fall out to the side. So try to roll that in and under. As you do that, press this right thigh back down towards the mat. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. I know they can easily creep up. Staying for one more breath.
Now, begin to straighten that front leg, but keep your arms just as they are. We're coming into our Trikonasana pose. So begin to press down through that through that left big toe. Shift the left arm forward, send the hips back, and then release the left hand to either the inside edge or the outside edge of that left foot. Should have mentioned, if you have a block, you can always place a block underneath that left arm, and then raise that right arm to the sky. So both legs are straight. If you tend to hyperextend, you can have a slight bend in this front knee, but keep pressing down through that left big toe. Same thing, press down through the outer edge of that right foot with that right arm to the sky. Keep firming that outer left thigh in and under. Try to stack the shoulders and broaden those collarbones. See if you can turn the pinky side edge of that right hand forward. Stay in for one more breath here. Now press down through the feet, slight bend in that front knee, lift back up into your warrior two. We'll reverse, drop that right arm down, left palm up to the ceiling, reverse your warrior, look up to the left fingertips, and exhale, release the arms forward and down. Come up on that back heel in your low lunge. And now from here, or I should say our high lunge, our knees up. Now, heel toe your left foot out wider to that left side of the mat. So normally when we're in our lunge, we have our left foot on our left side, right foot on the right side. I want you to move this left foot even wider. Coming into a lizard lunge. So if keeping your knee up off the mat is a little too much for you, you can always drop your knee down. But start with your hands and your palms down on the mat. You can gently let your chin start coming towards your chest to elongate that spine. And if you want to stay right here, go for it. Next option, if you want to release your forearms down to the mat, you can do that as well. Keep your neck engaged, but again, you can still let your chin come towards your chest slightly. And if either of those options don't work and you want to rest your forearms on a block, you can do that as well. So again, make sure this left leg is a little bit wider than normal, but you're still keeping that left knee on top of the left heel. If you need to drop your knee down, that's fine. Just make it yours. You should really feel this opening up in that left hamstring area, left hip opener. We're just staying for one more breath here. Now gently lift up. If you have your block, just set it off to the side. Lift that right knee up if it's down. Send that left foot to meet the back foot. Come into your plank pose. Drop the knees to the mat. Shift the torso forward. Bend the elbows lower halfway down. From here, uncurl the toes and lift up into your cobra pose. So maybe you've started to lift up and straighten the arms here. Keep drawing the tailbone towards the heels, but keep the legs on the mat for now. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release everything down. Curl those back toes under. Press yourself up through tabletop and lift up and back through downward facing dog. Stay for a moment in your down dog. Now let's inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Let's inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Stay in your forward fold, plant your palms down, keep your right foot forward, and extend that left leg back. Hi, Coney. So start in your lunge here, but then we'll come into our warrior 2 feet. So drop that left heel down. You probably need to heel toe that right foot over slightly so that your top heel draws a line down and intersects with that back arch. Left toe should be slightly forward. Release the right arm to the inside edge of that right thigh. Press down through your feet, left arm to the air, raise up into your warrior 2. So check in, make sure this right knee is on top of that right ankle, centered behind those center toes. Pressing back through the outer edge of that left foot. Arms shoulder height, palms down. Turning your neck to look over those right fingertips. On our inhale, let's straighten the leg.
both arms come overhead. Exhale, rebend, warrior two. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Two more times. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, warrior two. Now coming into our Trikonasana pose, begin by straightening that front leg. Send the hips back as the right arm comes forward. If you need your block, just place it on either side edge of that front foot. And then release your right arm down, left arm to the ceiling. Try to stack those shoulders. Keep pressing down through that right big toe. Slight bend in that front knee if you tend to hyperextend. Keep trying to wrap this outer right thigh in and under as you press that left thigh back. Try to get as thin as you can, as if the walls were squeezing both sides of you. Maybe you turn that left pinky towards the front so that the palm faces the front side of your mat. One more breath here in your Trikonasana. And exhale, slight bend in the knee as you raise back up. Come into your warrior two. Let's reverse that. Drop the left arm, right palm raises up towards the sky. And exhale, spiral both arms forward. Release them both down towards the mat. Come up on that back heel. And we'll come into our lizard lunge on this side as well. So this right heel, this right foot comes out towards the right side of your mat. Left knee can be up or down. And start with both hands underneath your shoulders. If this is enough for you, stay right here. Other options, you can release your forearms down to the mat. If you have your block or a box or something that you'd like to use, you can release your forearms down onto that block as well. Just try to keep that right knee on the right ankle. And you can drop that left knee if you need to. Slight tuck of the chin. Keep that neck engaged. Let's stay for 2 long, deep breaths here. Really opening that right hamstring, right hip. One more deep breath. And now release up off of whatever you're using. Come back up to your hands. Draw that left knee up off the mat if it was down. Draw that right foot back. You're in your plank pose. Now, if you want to do your chaturanga without dropping to your knees, go for it. So either knees up or down. We'll shift the torso forward, bend the elbows, lower halfway down. Then you uncurl the tops of the toes and then lift up into your baby cobra, or maybe you're in your upward facing dog. If you're in your upward facing dog, only tops of the toes touch with the palms. Whatever back bend you're in, roll the shoulders up and back, release the tailbone towards the heels. Now everyone drop to your knees, bend the elbows back, let the forehead roll down to the mat. Curl the back toes under. Press yourself up through down dog, come through tabletop if you need to. And your down dog, just stay for a couple breaths. Keep drawing your chest back towards your thighs. Just one more breath here. Now inhale, gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk your step to the top of the mat. Feet or hips with distance. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Now, before we go through this next sequence, make sure you do have a block at the top of your mat if you do have one. So just have that ready, or a box or something that you may use. Actually, put it up at its largest height if you are using a block. It might come in handy. Okay, start with your feet hips width distance. We're back at the top of our mat. Arms down to the sides. Let the shoulders fall down. Let's inhale, raise the arms up overhead, look up. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold, plant your palms back, step your right foot back, step your left foot back, shift your hips back, come into your down dog. Now we're going to try something fun here, coming into wild thing. So begin by lifting the left leg, so start with the left leg up to hip height. Open the left knee and the left toes out to the left side. Bend that left knee. Now you can lift the left knee. This time you can open your hips. And as you start to open that up, you'll gently start to release the left leg behind you as the left arm raises up towards the sky. So if you need to take a look at me to see where we are, we're in almost like an upside down Urdhva Dhanurasana. Left arm extends away. Staying for one more breath. Now come back to where we were, a three-legged dog. Extending that left leg back up. Now draw the left knee in towards your chest and step the left foot up to the top of the mat. Release that right heel down, come back into your warrior 2 feet. Heel toe that left foot over slightly, left arm to the inside. Raise that right arm up to the sky and lift up into your warrior 2. So we're in our warrior 2, left foot forward, arms are nice and wide. Now just settle in here for a moment, soften the shoulders down, but still raise up through both sides of the torso. Keep pressing down through that left heel, firming and rolling that outer left thigh in and under. Staying for one more breath. And exhale. Now coming back into our Trikonasana pose. So re-straighten that front leg. Shift the hips back as the left arm comes forward. Release the left arm down. We're not staying here. Right arm comes up to the sky to start. Release the right arm to the hip, so that right hip. Now walk that back leg in about a foot. Slightly start to bend this left knee, and we'll shift forward with the left arm down. Left hand comes to that block. As you start to raise that right leg up, we'll come into our warrior 3 pose. Actually, this is our Ardha Chandrasana pose. It's a little bit different. So it's a balancing pose. We're balancing with the left toes facing forward. You can use the block. If you don't have a block, your fingertips or your hand can come to the mat. But try to raise that right leg up. The right toes are flexed with the toes and the knees facing out towards the right side of your mat. If you'd like, you can raise that right arm up to the sky with the pinky side edge rolling forward. Keep pressing back through that right heel. Maybe straighten that left leg a little bit more. Stay for one more breath. And release the right hand back down to the hip. Rebend that front knee. Release back down. Come into your warrior 2. Whew. Let's reverse our warrior. Drop the right arm. Left arm up to the sky. Raise the left arm up. And exhale, spiral the arms forward and down to either side of that left foot. Come up on that right heel. Extend that left leg back into your plank pose. Knees up or down. Shift your torso forward. Bend the elbows back, lower halfway down. Uncurl the toes. Inhale as you lift up into your back bend. Staying just for a breath. Curl the toes under. Lift your hips up and back through down dog. Come through tabletop if you need to. We'll switch to that other side now. So this time lift your right leg up and back. Open the right knee and right toes out to the side. Bend that right knee. Lift the right knee up. Now you can start to open up the hip. And as you open, that right foot will fall down behind you. The right arm comes up to the sky. And now your belly faces up. Maybe your right hand comes to the ground. Mine doesn't quite. But now in your Urdhva Dhanurasana, your upside down bow pose. Staying for one more breath. And exhale, come back into your down dog with the right leg up, three-legged dog. Draw the right knee in towards your chest. Step that right foot up to the top of the mat. Now we'll drop the left heel down. Come into your warrior 2 feet. Heel toeing that right foot over. Right arm to the inside edge. Left arm up to the sky. Press down through your feet and lift up into your warrior 2. So just check in quickly. Make sure that right knee is on that right ankle. Softening the shoulders down. Turning your neck to look over those right fingertips. So again, if you're using your block, just make sure it's up at the top of your mat. Start by coming into our Trikonasana pose. So straighten that front leg, and then heel toe that back foot in slightly. Now send the hips back, right arm comes forward, release it down. Left arm comes to the sky to start. Now release the left hand to the hips, right arm comes forward, slight bend in that right knee. As you press up off that left foot, raise that left leg up into the air in your Ardha Chandrasana. Keep flexing that left foot, try to get it up to hip height. You can use the block, or if you don't have your block, just use your hands or your fingers on the mat. Try to stack your shoulders. If you need to, you can raise that left arm up to the sky. Whew. Keep firming that outer right hip in. Let's stay for one more breath. And now gently bend that front knee. Release that left arm down. Come back up into your warrior two pose. All right, that was trickier for me than normal. Let's reverse our warrior. Drop the left arm down. Right palm up to the sky. Raise it up. And exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. Come up on that back heel. Send that right foot to meet the back foot. Last chaturanga here. So knees down or up, shifting forward. Bend the elbows back, lower halfway down. Uncurl the back toes. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. And exhale, curl the toes under. Lift the hips up and back into down dog. Come through tabletop first if you need to. Hi, Oliver. From your down dog, gently release your knees to the mat. Bring the big toes to touch. Shift your hips back. Come into your child's pose. Make it your child's pose. Knees can be separate or together. Arms can be forward or down to your sides. Take a couple deep breaths here. Maybe you come back to your intention that you set at the beginning of practice. One more deep breath in your child's pose. Okay, now begin to gently lift your head up, lift your hips up off your heels. Extend your legs off to the side. We'll come into a seat with our legs straightened out in front of us. Now from here, start with your feet hips width distance, slight bend in the knees. Again, if you have trouble sitting up here, you can always slide a blanket, a towel, or a block underneath. We'll add a fun little twist here. So begin by bending the right knee first. So the right knee comes in towards your chest. Now extend the left arm forward and have your left thumb turned down so that your palm faces the left side. So now you have your left thumb down, pinky up. Grab the outside edge of that right foot and now begin to extend and straighten that right leg. Once you have that, open that right arm out to the side so the right palm faces away and add your twist, twisting and turning from the navel up. Maybe you gaze to look up at that, back towards the right fingertips. If this is too much, you can always bend that left knee as well to give you a little more stability. So that left knee can be bent or straightened. You're flexing those left toes if that leg is straightened. Staying for one more breath. Now keep holding on to that left leg. I'm sorry, that right leg with the left arm. Come back to center. Grab the inside edge of the right leg so now your arms are crossed. Your knee can be bent here if it needs to, but you can just begin to straighten it and then lift the bottom of your foot up towards the ceiling as you create a nice long spine. So maybe you're a little more open or a little more mobile than me. You can bring your chest towards your shin. This is about all I have for today, but the idea is to lift that right foot up to the sky as much as you can without leaning back. So you're still keeping a nice long spine here. Let's stay for two more breaths. One last breath here. And exhale, gently release the knee down. Arms down to the side, re-straighten that right leg, and we'll switch to the other side. So we'll start by bending the left knee in towards our chest. Raise the right arm up and forward, and then turn the right thumb down, right pinky up. Grab the outside edge of the left foot and begin to lift and straighten that left leg. So the bottom of the left foot faces forward. Then raise that left arm out and up, shoulder height behind you. Turn and twist from the navel up. Maybe your gaze comes to look over those left fingertips. Keep rooting down and pressing out through that left heel. Again, this right leg can be straightened. If it is, flex that foot, or the knee can be bent for a little more stability. Try to avoid falling back too much, so still create a nice long spine. One more breath here in the twist. And now release the left arm forward. As you come forward, grab the opposite end, the inside edge of that left foot, and gently start to draw that foot up towards the ceiling, keeping a nice long spine, sending your chest toward your shin. So avoid rounding here just to get closer to your leg. Still on a nice long spine. Really feel this in the back of the leg. We'll stay for 2 long, deep breaths here. One more breath. And exhale, gently rebend that knee. Bend both knees, send your hips forward, and we'll gently roll down onto our spines. Once you're here, hug both knees in toward your chest and let both knees fall off to the right side. So we'll add our spinal twist on our backs here. Make sure when your knees fall off to the side, they're at least up at hip height. If you need to, you can place a block underneath or between your knees. Extend both arms out, shoulder height, palms face up, either into a T shape or a field goal pose. And then try to keep that left shoulder rooted. If you want, you can use this right hand on top of the left thigh just to give a gentle press to get a little bit deeper in the stretch. Last option is to turn your neck to look over the left fingertips. Staying for a couple deep breaths here. One more deep breath. And then turn the face back up towards the ceiling. Draw the knees back into center. Hug the knees in towards your chest just for a moment. And then let the knees fall off to the left side this time. So as the knees fall off to the left, make sure those knees are at least up at hip height. That really helps to protect your low back in this final twist. Now extend both arms out, shoulder height, palms face up. And then gently turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. You can add your block to the left side if you had it on your right. And we'll just stay for a couple deep breaths. One more deep breath. And then turn to look back up towards the ceiling. Knees come back into center. And hug those knees back in toward your chest. Let's add a happy baby. So we'll separate the knees out wide. And then bottoms of the feet come up towards the ceiling. For your arms, you can either grab the outside edges of your thighs, your shins, or if you're going to grab the outside edges of your feet, arms come to the inside edge of your knees, then they grab the outside edge of your feet. You're gently drawing the knees down towards the mat. Try to keep your low back on the mat. Just stay for one more breath here in your happy baby. And then exhale, gently release. Draw both knees back into center, hug them in towards your chest. Lift your shoulders and the back of your head off your mat. Create an egg shape. Give a nice full squeeze here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
And exhale, extend. Both legs straighten, toes point away, arms overhead. Extend the fingertips away from the body. Add one more full body stretch here. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, gently release. Let the arms come down to the sides, palms face up. Knees and the feet fall off wide. Begin to settle into our Shavasana pose, final pose of our practice today. You can check in and release any last little bit of tension you may have. Maybe you're still gripping your toes or your fingers. Maybe you can separate your jaw. Your mouth might slightly open. Unfurl your brow. Let your shoulders hang nice and heavy. Just let your whole body be heavy and melt into the mat. Your eyes can soften or your gaze can close as you release any control over the breath. Just be here. And just begin to bring some awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. And rotate your wrists and your ankles. Switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath on your back. You can begin to gently bend your knees as you roll over to one side of your body. Rolling over, let your top arm rest on your bottom, your top knee rest on your bottom knee. Just stay for a breath here on your side. And keeping your eyes softened or your gaze closed, use your top arm to press yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged seated position to complete your practice today. Once you come into your seat, you can release your palms on top of your knees. Palms can face up, or you can bring your hands into the center of your chest. Reconnect to your intention as we take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, let it out, exhale. Thank you all for joining me in practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me for practice on this Friday evening. I hope you enjoyed, got a little bit of a workout in this little level 2 class here where we start to ramp things up a little bit. I hope you enjoyed just the hip openers this week. I pretty much have started to do classes based on feedback, so I always appreciate your feedback if you want me to do one thing or the other, or if you think I should change things up, if things go too fast or too slow. All of that, I really appreciate your feedback. Oh, Diana, thank you. Man, you are an all-star making classes. Good to see you. Hope you feel great. And yeah, if you'd like to contact me with any questions or feedback or anything, always provide it in the chat, the video comments, and in the description is more of my contact info. So I ask if you'd like to donate. That link is also in the description as well. And yeah, I think that's it. So take however you feel right now into the weekend, into the rest of your days and I will see you next time in practice. Again, my name is Daniel with Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you. Peace.